a Sydney woman on a train, and there's a woman sitting next to her wearing a hijab, and she's being hurled abuse by a commuter across who's calling her a terrorist, blaming this poor woman sitting on a train in Sydney for the hundreds of Christians who've been killed by ISIS. And this former Sydney woman, she's apparently blonde-haired. You know, she just launched a scathing attack back at this woman, defending the woman in a hijab. Now, that's not really something that we see every day, but good on her.
Yes.
Her name's Stacey Eden.
Yeah. This is one of those videos that like make you, a lot of the stuff that you come across in the news and on the internet is always like, oh my God, I hate people. And then you see something like this and you're like, yay, yay, there's still hope for us yet. So this is, it's a brilliant story. And I was like, really, it's something so heartwarming.
Yeah,
Someone
I
just to step in who's like, really, she didn't have to do anything. She could have just quietly sat there and gone about her day. But she was like, this is some bullshit. And I'm going to stand up and fight against this.
Yeah. Sibulele, will you ever yell at somebody on a bus for taking on one of your fellow commuters?
No.
You won't?
No. I don't have a Superman cape cloak underneath my clothes. I'm okay. No, look, it also, I don't know. Some people are angry. She could have had a bad day. She could have felt, that day. So, I don't know, hey? It just, this one was just, people are horrible. And there are people who stand up for horribleness. And there's certain things that I stand up against. You know, if you're mean to women or you're mean to old people, then it's on, But again, there are horrible people out there. Nothing you can do about it. But hey, good for her.
Yeah. There's the hashtag going around, Muslim not extremist. That's also been really cool. People.
Yes, because look, I think the Muslim community are the most misunderstood, the most misunderstood society in the world, because what tends to happen is that because extremism and everything else that's associated to it is linked to their religion, it's assumed that everyone is under, is falls into the same bracket per se. Like last night I watched on Carte Blanche how ISIS is recruiting normal South Africans now. There was a video of two gentlemen in Joburg who, because they showed this promotional video of how you can, if you commit to ISIS, and it was so funny because this guy was like, no, actually dying is not painful, you just feel a pinch. I was like, dude, really?
That's how you die.
Exactly. No, he was like, no, dying, it's not painful, you just feel a pinch, and you won't even feel that pinch if you committed to Allah and all of that. I'm like, guy, good for you. So, with that said, they are misunderstood, and it's good that sometimes that there are people outside that bracket who can say, actually, let this woman be. And actually, I find that attire very empowering and very dignified for women, but women who choose to, present and project themselves that way. But it's very, I remember being kids, and my brother and I used to catch a train. The woman who just kept quiet because she knows what she's about. So, great, hey, carry on. So,
yeah. Talking about the hashtag, going back to what we were talking about earlier, I just found that in 2015 that type of campaign even being necessary seems ridiculous. As South Africans, I mean, we pride ourselves in being a rainbow nation, flawed as we are, but in 2015 we still need people to explain to us that Islam and extremism are not
things.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's absolutely shocking that people need to be reminded of something that seems so basic and so simple to grasp.
Look, it's basic and simple to you, but for the average person who's not as educated or not as inclined, you pick up sticks as you come along, So if I am from Nyanga and I hear that Muslims are terrorists, that's an imprint that I have. But yeah, everyone I see who's Muslim, there's something not right with you, So
I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Ignorance is not
I'm not defending ignorance.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that we have more exposure to the knowledge, and we also absorb the knowledge. We've got internet. You can go on your tablet, but the average man on the street, not the average, but the bottom tier isn't. Their lives and their perceptions are based on the sticks that they pick up along the way. So if I'm not saying that everyone in Nyanga doesn't have access to the internet. But as growing up, if people say every Muslim person is a terrorist, whether you agree with it or not, that's an imprint that you have.
But
So-
you know what? There's been a lot of growth within in the black community
Yeah.
of the Muslim faith. And when I go into township now, they have friends who converted to
it is,
Islam,
but-
and
but-
so they do. There is definitely a cultural exchange. In that fact, it's not even just it's on a person to person basis. It's quite likely if you're living in a township that you know someone. There's someone in your social circle or someone in your
I hear what
community
you
who's also a Muslim. They're not a terrorist, so it's
No,
not.
but-
It's to say that people just assume because they keep on hearing that terrorism. They keep on hearing
You're not
terrorism.
understanding me. I'm not saying that, but also if you look at the township Muslim culture, the people who actually adapt that culture are a majority are thugs, have
Yes.
robbed banks, and they fall within that circle. They sell drugs. So it's like I know a couple of people from Ekailicha or whatever who, rock the Muslim gear and are open drug dealers, and they are linked to a certain race. Just like being rich or being wealthy is linked to the Jewish faith. There's unfortunately the Muslim society, they are linked to negative perceptions, So I know there are a lot of people who are converting, but it's also the linkage. And then the few who are doing good tend to be overridden by the rubbish that's.
But you see, that's entirely true, and I agree with you on that. But that is up to the people who are making those assumptions, because you're choosing to ignore the people that you know are entirely just living good lives, good Muslim lives. But you're choosing to focus on this one group. It's the same thing that happens with xenophobia, with racism, with homophobia, all these things, these societal issues. People choose to focus on the one thing that, like, I'm going to pick on them, this group, for this reason.